Hi everyone, this is Julia from The Art of Creating, and today I'm sharing a Scraproom tour with you. So here is a quick overview of my little scrap room. So hopefully the light will be alright. It's just the way where it comes from the window. As you can see, some areas are a little bit shady, so I'll try to shine some light onto it so you can see some of the things. Basically, I will show you a bit of each area and explain a bit more about it. And if you want it more detailed, I can record more detailed video shots or videos of those specific areas. So this is my computer and my desk. I don't really do a lot of work at the desk here. It's mainly just when I'm editing videos or just going through my photos. For work, I use a laptop, so this is more of personal things, computer. And I've got a webcam on here as well. I've just got some storage boxes here of the things I need to purge or give away. This area is where I have my printer. It is a Canon, Pixma Canon, and it prints and scans really high quality photos, so I use that for my photo printing unless I'm sending away for a batch print to another shop. I've got my Cameo behind it, so I can pull it out and sit it on top of the printer if I want to cut out an image. And I find that I really need to have everything plugged in, otherwise I'm not going to use it. In this little space here, I've just got some spare paper trimmers, some spare paper, silhouette mat, and just a few bits and pieces. And this first drawer just has my pens and just stationery things. And this drawer has my computer things. So computer cords, photo paper, memory sticks, that sort of stuff. This is my art journals. So it is getting a little bit full. So I've just got some books, various types of art journals, vintage books. I like to art journal in vintage books as well. So a few things there. This area is my letter stickers. So a lot of this has letter stickers in it, so that's just the camera. Here I keep little word things for specific. How do you open it? One-handed. There. So specific words. Basic pens, blue and black pens. And here we have smaller letter stickers, so just small letter stickers, slightly larger, mainly just flat letter stickers. And as you can see, I have quite a bit. On this side, I try to separate them a little bit into word strips, phrases, phrase stickers, pocket page. They're like... They've got like little stickers like that, and they're transparent. What else? And just slightly larger letters at the back, but also flat. So that's this section. This little unit I have, this is one of the Kaiser Craft wooden things that you can put together yourself, and I've just altered it with graphic 45 papers, and I just glued them on and painted the actual wood in black, so I can use it as a bit of a storage. And in these little containers I just keep little bits and pieces. There's some wood, more wood, some pegs and things like that, which are a little bit more dimensional. I use those things for 3D projects, off the page projects, because they're too big for page protectors. Just little paper clips, little this little thing I've been meaning to use. I've got like a little bird cage, like a wooden bird cage to alter, and then you can put this light into it and it will glow. Then this area I've got divided into sections. So these are papers that I didn't think I would use as 12 by 12. So I've cut them all down into either 6 by 4 or 3 by 4 like project life size cards, and I've sorted them by color. And I haven't used a lot of it yet, but I feel like I would have more chances of using it like this than as full 12 by 12 papers. And here's where my letter stickers start. Well, these are the thickers, so, and large chipboard letters. So I've got them also separated by color. And when generally speaking, I know what color I want to go for, so I can dig in here and look for that color. So there's greens and all that sort of stuff. And here's just a few random things. So these are just like transparency letters and chipboard letters and that sort of stuff. And here are some of the things I thought I would use, but I should probably go through it and get rid of it. Old nail polishes, old makeup that I didn't think I would use on my face anymore, or obviously on my nails. But I'm thinking that I could use like nail polish for in mixed media, like drops, because they're fairly thick. I can probably use it as kind of like enamel accents. So that's the idea behind that. This couple of sheets I use as my backing when I take photos, and a couple of bags there with just some specialty papers and things I don't use very often. Then we have the main area where I create. So this is my desk and the project, sneak peek of the project I've just finished. This is who's this by? We are Memory Keepers craft mat, and it is magnetic. So firstly you can fold it, so you can see it folds into 3, but it's also magnetic, so you can place things and ruler or magnets and things like that to hold your project together, which can be handy if you're moving things around. My little close to arm's reach station of the things I use very often. So spray bottle, actually 2 spray bottles. This one is like, as you know, the hairdressers use, and that one is more like spray mist, so it's not as much water coming out of it. I've got Mod Podge, clear gesso, white gesso, normal white glue, glossy accents, more glue that I'm trying to use up and trying to remember to do so. This is glitter glue, which is kind of like well, it's called crystalliner, but it's kind of like pinkish and silverish glitter in it, which is one of my favorites. That's why I have a big bottle of it. Rubbing alcohol for cleaning up things like stays on ink and alcohol ink, which obviously doesn't clean up with water. Foam dots, my most used stamp inks, so stays on, and VersaFine, which is brown, and Versamark. Then below that I've got staples, spare staples, a couple of clips for when I do art journaling to hold my pages together, and these just stick to the magnet, which was unintentional, but it holds it together so I don't have to go looking for it. All of my double-sided tape, thick white gesso, tape runner, my red tape, basically all sorts of tape. This is for paintbrushes when I do mixed media, black gesso, glue dots of various kinds, and vellum tape. Then we have this little box that I made. I saw a video on YouTube of someone who made this out of matches, and I've decorated it with Prima, and I really like how the top came out. And I just use it for little things. So there's a little bit of chain, mainly for mixed media and that sort of stuff. And I also keep some of my spare staples in here as well. So here's just some transparent things. There's a little key I made from hot glue, I think. I've got the little things that you can pour the hot glue into, and then it dries pretty instant. And you've got a little shape. This little box I made as well. I just keep my glue here, which is a bit of a waste, but this is from those Tattered Angels kits that you used to be able to buy, and you still might be able to buy some, where it comes with a combination of colors and like glaze and that sort of stuff, and you can make a faux look. So this one was turquoise, and then there's different wooden faux look. So this is one of my favorite ones. So I made this box with that. Another box I decorated with Prima. So this is another Kaiser Craft. And I just used this little fairy from a shop that I actually got as a present. So I just put her on there and decorated the top of it. And in here I keep my pens. So these are my colored, like sort of glittered pens, and things like, what do you call this? Wing of Stella brushes, that's it. So I've just got a few of them. They're like glitter ink pens. A few other specialty pens. So these are by Sakura. Crayons and Prima pencil sharpener. And here I've just got plain pens. So blacks, whites, browns, that sort of stuff that I normally use for journaling. So I mostly use black for journaling and sometimes white, but occasionally I use other ones as well. A couple of containers I keep on my desk, just so I remember to use things. So here are some sequins, some punched out shapes, and some other things from other kits that I haven't used up yet. And these I punched out using my different heart punches from glitter paper, just so I remember to use it and so that I've got them ready to go. Here I keep some of the photos I'm working on. So like if I'm working on the project live, and I've got more than one page worth of photos, I'll put them in there so they don't get damaged and don't get lost. I've got my heat tool on here. This little container is kind of like a transit container. So at the moment I've just put some of the papers from Japan that I got as a present, and just a few other goodies from Japan as well that I just want to remember to use. I have a whole video on my channel, so if you want to check it out. And this is my vintage book where I do my art journaling in. So this is just an old book, and I just color the pages and do stuff in it. But basically this container doubles up as a travel container, so that if I go away for a few days and I want to do some scrapbooking, I will chuck my tools in here, just a few bits and pieces, and I'll take a kit with me, and I've got everything sort of in here, easily accessible, and it's on the magnets as well, so I can hang it up somewhere. The magnets are fairly strong. Then I have a little basket with my fuse tool and just fuse pockets and a few bits and pieces. And my hot glue gun as well, which I normally use for mixed media as well. My lamp, and this container I've also altered. Can't remember which papers I've used for this one. It was one of the first projects I did, but I've got this little tool which crinkles paper on one side. I've got the embellishments in here, and just a few tags and things on this side, and then I've just got some die cuts and bits and pieces that I want to use. Some textures, so like for example this you're using for paint, old gift cards and that sort of stuff for mixed media, and there's other compartments on the back as well, which is more of the same. Then this is from IKEA. Can't remember what you call them things, but everyone seems to have the same ones. Probably one of my favorite things that I have here. I keep this unit as an extra workbench, so I have a kit or some collection that I'm working with on top of it, as well as extra working surface. I keep some of this where I can test out my stamps to make sure that they'll stamp alright, and basically as scratch paper. The top two drawers are inks. So here is my distress inks, and they fit in here perfectly. So I've got all of my distress inks, and I've got a couple of extras in there that didn't fit somewhere else. I've got all my sponges, my stamping blocks, and other sponges. And the next one is more inks. So I've got my Prima inks, my Versamagic, and various ones, my Stays On types, archival inks, mementos, and all that. So this is all of my inks. This is my textures, so doilies, tissue papers, some of the things I made up before. This is another thing that I made using that Tattered Angels kit, same as this box in the back there. So this is what it looks like if it's just on the paper. So I've just been using it as a few punch out shapes. And here I have my crate paper. I've moved it. It was in my regular paper storage before, but now I've moved it because I want to try and use more of it. So I've just got a few collections in here because I really like crate paper and I just wanted to use it. So there's 12x12, 6x6, loose sheets, embellishments, chipboard, and that sort of stuff. And the bottom two are punches. So I also wanted punches close to me so I remember to use them. So I've got border punches and like corner punches, that sort of stuff. And bottom ones are shape punches. So the closest to me are the ones I use the most. So like these ones are my most favorite in that. And then the ones in the back are the ones I use less often. So under the table is nothing particularly interesting. Just some spare paper towels, bags, my trimmer, some cords for my sewing machine, and just some storage boxes. And this is my Project Life cards in this box here. The ones that are not in their own boxes I've separated out and they're in there. This shelf unit is meant for cupboards. So it doesn't actually have a back, but it fits a lot. And I just wanted something where I could visually see all of my paints, all of my embellishments and things, so I remember to use them, and it's been working really well. So things at an eye level are the things I want to use most often, and I'll just switch this off and I'll be back and I'll try to get some more light in here. Okay, I'm back, and hopefully this is a little bit better. I'm not sure. Let's see. Is this better or not? Maybe we'll try like this. So this and the shelf below it are paints and things like that. So I've got glitter, really pretty metallic paints by Lumiere, the shimmers dimensionals, and oh yeah, it's the same as this but in a smaller bottle, alcohol inks and smooch paints, more glitter, more dimensional paint, and all of this is really accessible, which is what I was after. Some paints and pencils that I don't use as much, various crayons and so on, and watercolor in there. This is also shimmers stuff, and I keep them upside down so that I can see the color. So these are the ones that you have to add water to. So they're basically shimmery watercolors. Of course, my gelatos and another collection of gelatos there. And then I've also got glitter glue and various other like things in these boxes there as well. Then we have paint brushes and markers. We have things like Lindy's Stamp Gang paint pots. So in other words, it comes with powder and then you add whatever medium you want. Most of them I've added some sort of a glaze, that sort of stuff, so that I can use them as texture paste. But you can add just water or some other acrylic medium, that sort of stuff. Just various glittery paints. As you can see, I've got a lot of paint. Silks are a really fun product to work with. More shimmers. I've got my swatch of all my paints. What I found before, I was doubling up on the things that I had. So I've made myself swatches of different embossing powders and paints and that sort of stuff I had, to make sure I don't double up. Paints, paint daubers, inks, embossing powders, more rubbing type things like, I know these are crackle paints, which are also really fun. These are like same as Inca Gold pretty much, just different sort of consistency. You basically, it's like a very thick paste and you rub it on to make things look metallic. Below are things like sewing machine and sewing type things. So all of my twine, and I really like to have things in the basket so I can look through them easily and then put them back. These things I should use more often than I do. They punch sort of like these patterns in the paper, and then you put ribbon through it and you've got patterned ribbon things. They were really popular quite a while ago. Little sewing things by Amy Tan. So it's got different patterns and shapes. Got some bits from my sewing machine, some spares. This is another one of those rotary things. It punches holes in the paper, and then you basically sew over it in like straight stitch or whatever and make patterns out of it. My cuddle bug, and these are all of my dies. So these are metal dies. Let's see if I can make it a little bit lighter. So you can see metal dies. I have some wooden stamps in there, and sewing machine, and stamp and die kits, as well as roller date stamps and embossing folders and things from my embossing machine, like the press plates, whatever you call them. Underneath is just my mediums. So there is various texture mediums, like texture paste and all that sort of stuff. And there are my paints, just your normal acrylic basic paints. And there are some of those Tattered Angels kits that make different wood patterns and gemstone patterns, that sort of stuff. And up the top is where I don't go as often, naturally. Oh, actually no, this bit I go to quite often. This is all my washi tape separated by colors. So neutrals, colors, and then gold, or any color that has gold in it, or fabric tapes and that sort of stuff. Gems and enamel dots. Some embellishments, wood, washi tape packs, embellishments, rub-ons, and up the top are more mixed media things. So apart from brads over there and all sorts of wood veneer over there, mostly it is metal embellishments, resin pieces, flowers, like really dimensional ones and things like that. This box has ribbon and lace, and it's something I've altered as well. I used to do a lot more altering back in the day when I wasn't as busy. I don't do as much of it yet, and I've got a lot of projects to be done. And that little box as well was one of the first projects I've altered as well back in the day. Up the top is just a bit of a storage with spare ribbon, spare flowers, that sort of stuff. And here, lots of gems and chipboard, my albums. So some of them are work in progress, some of them are finished. Bottom basket there is more texture mediums, and here are some of my finished greeting cards I've completed. This is kind of spares, like spare mist bottles and just spare bits and pieces. 6x6 paper pads, 6x6 paper pads, 6x6 paper pads, albums, 8x8 albums. Some of the magazines that really need to go somewhere else. Ribbon and a few random things. Ribbon, glues, refills, that sort of stuff. More of the same. So glues, hot glue, liquid glue, foam dot adhesive, that sort of stuff. This is how I keep my stamps, and some more letter stickers. So actually, this is letter stickers. These are stamps, and that is labels. So I keep labels on my page protectors, so I can peel them off and use them on my page. A Rascog card from IKEA is where I keep all my mists. So these are Tattered Angel mists, and I've just done a swatch on the lid so I can see exactly what color it is, because what I was finding is all of the lids look the same, and looking from the top down I couldn't tell what color it was. So I've swatched them all so I can easily find what I'm looking for. These are mainly shimmers and Lindy's Stamp Gang. These are little hanging things that I can move around, and they're just some sponges and bits and pieces, and just some more. A lot of them are just double ups of the inks that I really like, so if I'm running out of some of them, I've bought a spare, but I just keep it down here so that it's out of my way a little bit. This is a bit of a junk drawer, I guess. So I keep this thing that I want to remember to use. Some of the stamps and things like that are just thrown in there. Some of the Project Life cards I'm working on. Some of the photos that I'm working with. Then some of the projects that I've started, like backgrounds, but I haven't really done anything else with them yet. My finished pages ready to be put away. Some of the projects I'm working on, like a mini album, and more of these special look. Like this is supposed to be some sort of a gemstone, can't remember what it's called. Turquoise. So these are like coasters, so one day I'll finish them as well. And then this drawer is what fits most of my stuff pretty much. Let's see. So right in the middle here I have my paper, which is separated by collections on manufacturers. So just a few random collections in these little bags. Then I've got a whole heap of Prima, a whole heap of Graphic 45. This is also Graphic 45, 8x8. Then a few other random things. My specialty papers like glitter paper and vellum, that sort of stuff. Cardstock, different shape cardstock, or like different pattern cardstock. Some transparencies, thick plain paper to print on, glossy paper sort of like for Copics, my white cardstock, and just a few bits and pieces. So these are the things that you can sort of make with clay, that sort of stuff. Knockouts, so this is for one of my punches so that I can replace the inserts. What is that? Is that a crocodile? Basically making, or is it eyelets that are one of those things. Craft mats, tissue paper from Tim Holtz, Martha Stewart, scoring board. What else do I have in here? I think that's it. That's this cupboard. And in these drawers I keep my kits, so, or collections. So in other words, this top one, all of these items I have gathered for my travel album for my Canada trips from last year, so that I've got everything in my that I want to use. And there is also a Project Life kit to go with it, but I keep it separately at the moment. So when I get my photos printed for it, I have all of the papers to use. And all of the other ones are pretty much just various kits. So there's some Studio Calico old kits. I haven't really got anything recent because I'm still working through my really old kits. But I thought if I take everything out, pull it all out, and take everything out of packaging, it will be easier for me to just grab it and work with it. Bottom one for now, I have decided to make Christmas themed, so that when I want to sit down and do some Christmas cards or Christmas projects, everything is in one place. So these bottom drawers and those bottom drawers are basically kits. Then I have more kits. So you can see why I am not getting any more kits at the moment. These are all kits. And I have actually, since I've stopped getting kits, I have actually worked through quite a lot of them. So you can see how many I've had before I decided I needed to do something about it. Also, one of these boxes is actually my scraps. I don't have a lot of scraps because I work through my kit basically to death. So I work through it and get everything finished in it, and then I just get rid of scraps. This is my project life. Actually, I'll wheel it out a bit. So a good thing with the containers that I have is I can wheel them out to make some room if I need to move something or get to somewhere. So this is my project life area. So my project life core kits, as you can also see, I have a lot. Some random things for project life. Page protectors. In here, some spare boxes and some smaller project life kits. And then I have some sewing things or like cross-stitching things. So these are all threads. I like cross-stitching threads. And a few projects in there. And up the top, let's see. So in these cupboards, I have a combination of spare albums and off the page projects to work on, so like the wooden things or canvases, that sort of stuff, and also my cross-stitching and sewing type things. Here I keep my printed photos, so I have like some photos from my early childhood and things like that that I've already printed, and I just keep them there ready to go if I'm looking for something, and just some random storage things or spare containers that I didn't have anywhere to put pretty much. So this is my room. Let me know if you want anything in more detail, or if you don't like videos this long, if you prefer them shorter. Actually, I didn't show you this, did I? These are my tool bags. So scissors and various pointy things. Keep in here. I can move it around with me. Here's more for mixed media. So paintbrushes. These are only watercolor paintbrushes. The other paintbrushes were for mixed media. And just a few paint rollers and that sort of stuff. Yep. So let me know if you enjoyed this video, what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy, if you want things differently next time. And give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. And check out my other process videos on my channel. I will see you next time. And for now, bye bye.